Hello and welcome everyone tonight to another edition of TMGeek. We are right in the middle, get out of the way, of our TMGeek inaugural championship tournament. Round number 2. We are right in the middle of it. We have an awesome matchup for you today. The 5 seed David Garcia Alonso versus the 21 seed Antonio the Assassin Chavez. So, Aaron, what are your thoughts on this match before we get started, sir?
Yeah, this will be it'll be fun and interesting. Obviously, as we've said, the rankings can only mean so much when everyone played one match coming into this tournament. But we have the number 4 seed, one of only, I misread something, my bad. We have the number 5 seed who beat Amaru in what was probably the highest scoring game single-handedly before we went into this tournament at 22-18. So that was an impressive score. And now he's going up against Antonio, who, again, despite what seeds mean, did technically upset Malcolm at a 12-21 seed. So that's got to be a nice amount of little confidence boost going into this. We're getting into the tournament now, and the matches are only getting better and better. So, you can only hope for another one like that.
Exactly. Like you said, I mean, at this point, we're one step away from reaching the quarterfinals, and that excites me. So we're down to fewer than 16 players left. So that just sparks. Players are already kind of thinking about that championship, and it's right there within sight. Let's go ahead and bring in our first set of competitor and manager pairing. We will start off with, let's see, who are we going to start off with? We'll start off with the 21st ranked. Yeah, let's go ahead. Let me restart that. 5, 4, 3, 2. All right, and we will go ahead and bring forward our first competitor and his manager. He is managed by Joe Hot Fuzz Farrelly. He is the number 5 competitor in the tournament. It is David Garcia Alonso, the Spaniard. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. I'm relaxed, I guess. I'm okay. I mean, I just played a match with Antonio yesterday, and he missed, I think, 2 questions. So I am like, shit, I have to play this guy now. No, seriously, I love Antonio. He was one of those people that when I first started in the fan list caught my eye very fast, and I know he has had a little missteps on the way, but he can beat anyone. But I just have to make sure that anyone is not me today. So
absolutely,
I think David knows what he's doing today. David at the moment is on a hot streak. He's flying through Full Metal. He's killing it in the Fandom Teams tournament with his fantastic partner. And look, I've got a little vested interest. I've got a personal interest in this, not just the fact that David's my friend. It's the fact that, one, everybody knows that David and I are desperate to have a match on camera for once in Geek. Secondly, Antonio beat my Teams partner Amari to get here. So I have a double personal interest in this. So I know David. I know he's got exactly what it takes to beat Antonio. Not that Antonio is not a great player. He played really well when he played me in that first match. So we know what both these players are capable of, but I know that David is capable, more than capable, of rounding this one out with another victory. It's what he does.
Positive words from a good manager and a good, even better friend, I would say. Anything for Joe or the Spaniard, Aaron?
At the moment, no. Just wish you the best of luck, and definitely interested in seeing this one go forward. And as I said, for your first match in the tournament, good luck.
Yep, absolutely. Good luck, David. And we'll put you in the back for a moment as we bring forward, managed by Robert the Ghost Kastner. He is the 21st seeded player in the tournament. He did have a TKO victory over the number 12 seed Malcolm Lay. He is Antonio the Assassin Chavez. What is going on, man? How's it going, guys?
I'm pretty excited about this. I think I've always seen David around, but I don't think I've ever really gotten the chance, unless my memory's shitty, to really go one-on-one with him. He scares me, so I don't know why. Okay, yesterday I did pretty good, but he's always been one that I've always been weary of facing. But it's because I respect him as a competitor.
Well,
go ahead.
I was going to say, if I can interject, because I now have numbers in front of me so I can say things confidently, not to sell yourself short, Antonio. As of now, your match against Malcolm ending 22-19 not only ties David for that points in your first match, but that's also the second tie for the second highest amount of points scored in a TMGeek match so far, with the only person exceeding you being surprise entrant to the tournament, Ryan Payne, with 24 points. So this is definitely a heated match, maybe statistically speaking the most heated of this second round. So don't feel yourself short there.
No, he doesn't need to do that. He doesn't need to do that. No. I know that Joe and David are really hell-bent on this. I don't know what it is, like a Titan meeting of powers, which could happen. But the funny thing is, not only can Antonio upset that, but I can upset it too, because I'm also competing in this, and we're also there as roadblocks. So I know how good David is, but I know how good Antonio is when he sets his mind to it. So he might sell himself short. I'm here so that I sell him tall, I think is how you say it.
Hey, that's fair.
That's what I'm here to do.
Absolutely. I knew coming into even that first match where I know Antonio was maybe people might call it excuses. I would call it, he just maybe didn't prepare as well as I know he can for the match. So it didn't go his way. So that's what caused him to be the 21st ranked player. But I think he definitely more than proved in his last match that you're definitely not the 21 has really no meaning essentially at this point. So
seeds are a social construct; they don't exist.
There you go. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, then we will go ahead and drop Robert to the back and bring forward David, and we will be ready to get started. I'll read off some round one rules for you guys. This round one is our whiteboard round. We'll give you 10 questions in random geek categories to both competitors. You'll have about 15 seconds to write down your answer. Answers must be said aloud when revealing your response as we call upon your name. All questions in this round are worth 1 point. You do not lose a point for missing a question. A perfect round 10 for 10 triggers a 1 point bonus question. You do each have 3 repeats and 1 challenge. I will go to David first. Do you have any questions before we get started?
Let me close one pop-up that.
No worries. All right. And Antonio, any questions or anything before we get started?
I'm all good.
All right. So I will throw it over to Aaron for question number 1.
Absolutely, guys. And for your first question, we're going to go ahead and start off in the category of Star Trek. In Star Trek Into Darkness, what color is the foliage on the trees in the opening scene where Spock is neutralizing a volcano? Both competitors quick to the board.
Yeah, fall question for fall. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pins down.
And we'll go ahead and start with David.
I'm not sure about this one. Is it red?
And Antonio?
I also said red.
That's going to be correct as both players start off.
Orange, red.
Fiery would have maybe been an acceptable answer. No. All right, moving on to category number 2. That is in the wizarding world. What is the name of the president of Makusa, played by Carmen Ejogo during both Fantastic Beasts films?
Kevin, is it just me or does Carmen Ejogo sound like it should be a name in Harry Potter?
Yeah, I used to get it mixed up with the name that I'm asking for in 5.
Do you need full name?
3, 2?
Yes.
No, just
Or-
I will accept just the last name. Yeah, I will accept just the last name. So pins down, and this time we'll start with Antonio.
And nothing.
Serafina Piqueri.
All right, David.
Seraph.
He's got
That
a
is
turn.
correct for 1 point.
I could have sworn I heard my name. Sorry.
I could see it.
All right, so we'll go ahead and move on to question number
All right.
3, and that'll fall in the category of MCU. Who played Prince Njobu in Black Panther?
I feel like any Black Panther questions make people sad now.
Because
Should
I
be
don't
happy.
know.
Celebrate.
Oh yeah, I 100% agree.
I think this competitor,
5,
this question's making me
4,
sad because they're really thinking hard.
2, 1, pins down.
All right, and go to David
It's gonna be a no from me.
and Antonio.
Sterling K. Brown.
That is correct to tie the game back up at 2.
I watch This Is Us a lot, so I know that name.
Damn it.
All right, moving on to category number 4 in Middle Earth. What is the Elvish word for friend, as used by Gandalf to open the gates to the mines of Moria in the Fellowship of the Ring? Both very quick to the board there.
I would be praying something comes to my mind right about now.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pins down, and we'll start with Antonio
Melon.
and David.
Melon.
That is correct for 1 point each.
All right, both competitors tied 3-3 as we reach the halfway point of round 1. And that question will come to you in the category of Marvel. At the beginning of Spider-Man 2, what job does Peter have and subsequently get fired from?
I was going to ask you if you've ever been fired from a job, but that's probably not good commentary.
Probably.
5,
I haven't.
4,
I've
3.
quit.
Oh, there you
I've
go.
never been
2,
fired.
1. Pins down.
All right, we'll go ahead and go to David
He's a pizza delivery boy.
and Antonio.
It's a pizza delivery guy.
Okay.
Guy and boy, we will accept both. He was a youngin' and he delivered pizzas.
All right. Excellent job, guys. Tied at 4. Moving on to category number 6, weapons, vehicles, technology, magical objects. In Goblet of Fire, what type of object do Harry, Hermione, and the rest of the group use as a port key to get to the Quidditch World Cup?
I think I'd use a port key to get to the Soccer World Cup, but
I would just apparate everywhere. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pens down. We will start with Antonio
The shoe?
and David.
I said a boot.
Boot is correct. I will accept shoe. And
Okay.
then
Yeah. What do you think, Joe? I don't think.
all right, Joe wants to be brought in. So Aaron, go ahead and bring Joe in.
So, two things.
That's absolutely
One,
fine.
yeah, I saw your challenge. Yeah, I'll call that one. I was wrong.
Secondly, it's up to you, David.
Do you know English? Honestly,
It says it's a manky old boot. That's the exact line.
that's the yeah.
That is the line. So
But I mean,
that is your
do you know-
challenge.
Do you know English better than me? Are boots a type of shoe?
It's a difficult one because it's definitely a type of footwear, but you know, if it was a boot is a specific type of footwear that's not a shoe. You know, a trainer's not a shoe. A trainer could be classed as a shoe, but you'd probably say a trainer, not a shoe.
If it's different, then yeah, sure.
Let's
Let's throw the challenge.
if you want to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Robert wants to come in for the sake of accountability.
Yeah, absolutely. I can edit all this out. That's fine.
Okay.
I'm not going to add anything different that was just said, but I do want to reiterate that a boot is a kind of shoe.
Okay.
It is something you wear on your feet outside, like on a sock. So
all right, so I'm going to call it. So the challenge is David does have the correct point. Antonio's answer should not be counted as correct on the speciality of boots versus shoes. Per the way we handle challenges, I'm going to drop all of you guys.
Just based on the fact that the line is, it's a manky old boot.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Big line when they see the pork.
All right, so I'm going to drop you guys to the back. We'll make the decision, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, so since we don't have anybody in the back, I did watch the line before I wrote the question. That's why I put that in the parentheses there, the manky old part or whatever.
Yes.
I at first I was tempted to go with it is just a type of footwear, but since it is said out loud. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I guess it all depends on what direction do you take it. Do you take it off the item itself, or do you take it off the direct quote? Like what is felt to be more important, the direct quote or the item? Because if I'm looking at it as an item, then boots are shoes. It's a more general version, but I would say it's like saying if the answer to something is a fish versus saying it's a salmon. Like, it's the speciality of what it is. But if you put more credence and importance in the actual line itself, then shoe would not be correct.
Right.
So I don't really have a preference to lean one way or the other. I don't know if there's any precedent or any other challenge in this specific where we've gone one way or the other. So I would leave that up to you then, because you're the one that would more have to remember that for the future.
Yeah, that I will. That is absolutely true. All right, so.
But I would agree with either stance. Since we don't have a third opinion to shift it one way or the other, I could see both being correct. So as the person who runs the league, I would leave preface to you, and I agree with either side of it. Both are valid in my opinion.
I agree. The only I think the way that we'll go is since the ruling was I give him the point. And there is no, when I ask the question, I'll reread it out loud so everybody can hear it. In Goblet of Fire, what type of object do Harry, Hermione, and the rest of the group use as a port key to get to the Quidditch World Cup? So I didn't say what specific type of object, I guess. That would be where I would need to be more insightful there to distinguish between boot and shoe. So yeah, it was a shoe. Shoe is just a general term in my mind. So that's the way we're gonna go with it.
Okay.
All right. So bring everybody back in.
So then the other thing does, because
and I will make a note that because I do want to talk to everybody else about this too, like Ryan and everybody.
Well, I was gonna say, so just so I can make a note here: challenge discarded, challenge used, challenge done. Because we're just going with the call that was made there before. Again, I'm leaving it up.
Yeah, in that scenario, the challenge would be thrown out. They would lose their challenge.
Yep. Okay. All right.
That definitely has been set as precedent. So
there you go.
All right. So you guys heard all that. We don't have a third person to kind of like we usually would kind of.
Oh, what's up, Joe?
No, I just want to say we all heard everything you said in the prefix. We think we're fair to challenge, but we accept the ruling. Well, at least I do. I don't know about David.
Okay.
All right. There's no animosity here. It's all good.
All right,
All
cool.
right, I'll be
I'll
expecting
count it
death
back
threats
in,
later.
and I will. I'll read the ruling, and then we'll move forward. We can.
I feel challenging those kind of things anyway.
5,
It's
4,
fair
3,
to challenge.
2, 1. All right, guys, we're coming back in from that challenge. Aaron and I had a discussion. I did go to the tape prior to the match when I was writing this question. It does say manky old boot, but in writing the question, it does say what type of object. It doesn't say what specific object or what specific type of object. So in those terms, I am going to accept shoe because that is what type of object it was in generalities. We've already gone over that with the managers and everything, so I just wanted to read that aloud for the folks at home. So we are going to give Antonio the point, and David also does get the point. So we are still tied at 5. David, unfortunately, will lose his challenge.
Before we drop, what's up, Joe?
Yeah, go ahead, buddy.
We are accepting though that it is football, not soccer, right?
No.
Yes.
You listen. As someone who's Irish, I'm ashamed. I'll punish myself later. No, you are correct.
Congratulations.
That's fine.
Yeah, of course.
All right. We will move forward to category number 7, and I will pass that over to Aaron.
All right, we'll go ahead and move on to category number 7. Robert, I swear to God, if you challenge. No, I'm kidding. In the category of mixed bag. In Back to the Future, who attacks Doc and Marty at the Twin Pines Mall parking lot just as Doc is getting ready to make his first trek into the future?
Okay, do you need the specific for this one?
We a specific nationality, yes. Let's not get offensive. But
Okay, cool. I was almost made offensive. No, actually.
This one, we will definitely need what is said. That
Yes.
is for sure.
Luckily, I remember.
All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pins down.
all right, we'll go ahead and go to David
They're Libyan terrorists.
and Antonio.
He said, the Libyans.
That is correct.
The Libyans. All right. They stay tied 6-6, and we move to Star Wars. Nothing but Star Wars. In The Force Awakens, what does BB-8 recognize about Finn that makes him and therefore Rey hesitant to trust Finn? Sorry, I totally went too many pronouns there.
It's been a good match so far, but both the competitors very quickly getting to these answers, and the ones that they've missed have been legitimately tough, so it's already shown a great fight.
Oh, absolutely. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pins down. Start with Antonio.
I want to be a little bit more specific. The jacket he wears because it belongs to Poe.
All right, and David.
I guess it's Poe's jacket.
Poe's jacket is acceptable, and I will take Antonio's as well.
We needed the word Poe, we needed the word jacket, whatever words in between didn't matter at that point. All right, and we're going to go ahead and move on to your penultimate question, number 9, in the category of DC films. And your question simply is, who directed A History of Violence?
The oft forgot A History of Violence.
I disagree with that. I love that movie.
I
Oh,
haven't.
no, me too.
But does he know the director enough to love it?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pins down.
All right, we'll go ahead and start with David
It's David Cronenberg.
and Antonio.
David Cronenberg.
That is correct for both these gentlemen. Antonio does love it enough to know its director.
I mean, I haven't seen it, so it doesn't really.
Wow. I recommend it.
I was gonna say that's pretty impressive. All right, so we move on to your final category, and in TMGeek, as always, that comes in the category of plot summary. I will give you the plot summary of an IG film. and you give me the film. A criminal humanoid being that lives under the big city teams up with a wicked, shock-headed businessman on the surface to attempt to take down the city's superhero savior once and for all. Meanwhile, a female employee of said businessman goes on a vendetta of her own after being shoved from the window of a tall building.
Yep.
Competitors get 30 seconds with this one, 15 for the question and 15 for Kevin to read it.
Right. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pens down, and we'll go to Antonio.
Batman Returns.
And David.
Batman Returns.
Both are correct with Batman Returns, and both 9-9. Excellent job, guys. As we move into round number 2, Aaron, if you'd like to go over some rules for round number 2 for these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys will both get chances to spin at a wheel, whatever it lands on first. Should you not like it, except for if it lands on multiple opponent's choice, you will have the option to spin again. No matter on which spin or what way, the category that you end up with will give you 5 questions, all of which are worth 2 points, unless you decide to go to multiple choice, at which point it will be worth 1 point. Should you miss, your opponent will have the chance to steal for the number of points your question is worth. You also keep all 3 repeats and challenges held. David, you have all 3 of your repeats. Antonio, you have all 3 repeats and your challenge still remaining. As we go ahead and move into round number 2, because the competitors are tied, we go by preface of seed at this point, the only time that really does matter. And so David will get the opportunity to decide if he wants to go first or second. So Antonio will drop, and we'll bring Joe in.
All right, and I will read off tonight's wheel for you, David and Joe, and then you can make your decision. And also give you time to just talk to David as well. Your categories for tonight, in no particular order, are as follows: MCU, scores and soundtracks, mixed bag, DC, DCEU, Star Trek, Middle Earth, and Star Wars, and then, of course, spinners and opponent's choice. So, Joe, if you'd like to take about 60 seconds, go ahead and talk to David, and then you guys can discuss whether you'd like to spin first or defer.
First of all, David, great first round.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Know that you and I have been over some of those questions in training before, so it was good to see that you've managed to keep those answers. I don't know how you feel about this. You're the guy that's on the hot streak at the moment, so I will leave it to your judgment.
It's a 50-50 wheel. There are like half of the wheel I want to like get rid of, but the other half of the wheel is really good for me. And I know Antonio. There is only like one category that I think Antonio could take away from me. So maybe spin first, second. Spin first. Let him spin first to see if he can get rid of one of those.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like if the only way he can like take a category that I like a lot is one of his strengths. The other ones I don't really mind losing. So
okay, if that's what you want to do, then you got my backing.
Spin second.
All right. So spin second. David's decided to defer, so we will drop them to the back, bring up Robert and Antonio.
And I'll go ahead and have your wheel up.
Bring up the wheel.
Can I speak while this is happening, or should I let the wheel?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and take I'm sorry, Robert. Go ahead and take your time to talk to Antonio before we spin the wheel. Aaron, I'm sorry. I got to get used to this whole manager thing.
Tone, fantastic job. Screw that Harry Potter question. Nobody cares. He's the head of Bakuza. Nobody cares. Glad we won the challenge, so that helps for later on. We talked about the wheel. You know, we know what you like, we know what you don't. So we kind of know where to sit. But just keep doing what you're doing, man. You got this in control. I'm happy how it's going for you so far.
Right.
All right, sounds good. And so, Antonio, your first spin, sir, is in.
No whammies.
Round and round it goes, and it lands on DCEU. Give you guys a few seconds to talk about that.
So we talked about this.
Yeah.
I mentioned it on one side, but I never really got a confirmation if how you felt about it specifically. So is this one of these 50-50 ones?
Yeah, like it depends on what I get. I did sort of skim some stuff recently, but
You feel good for a risk? You want to take a risk?
yeah, let's just do it. Yeah, I don't want to risk anything else.
All
Okay,
right.
so you want to take
I'm wearing the shirt anyway. I might as well keep it going.
I guess it would be kind of like, hypocritical if you did not take it.
Right. I feel like the gods will hate me if I don't.
It's true. Yeah. The injustice of the gods amongst us. I get you.
Right, exactly. Let me go with it. Let me help this bring me some luck. All right.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and go with DCEU.
Good luck, man.
Sounds good.
We'll drop Robert out and have David back. Just as a reminder, Antonio, you'll get 5 questions in DCEU. David, be ready. Should he miss, you have the chance to steal.
All right. I will administer your 5 questions, Antonio, in the realm of DCEU, or Worlds of DC, whichever you prefer. And your first question, sir. In Arthur and Mira's flight, we see chickens and what other type of barnyard animal on the plane to the Sahara Desert in Aquaman?
Multiple choice.
Okay. Is it A, donkeys, B, cows, C, horses, or D, goats?
Cows?
Cows is incorrect. Going to go to David for the 1-point steal. Repeat the question and your options. On Arthur and Mira's flight, we see chickens and what other type of barnyard animal on the plane to the Sahara Desert in Aquaman? Is it A, donkeys, B, cows, C, horses, or D, goats?
B, goats.
D, goats is correct for 1 point. All right. Your second question, Antonio. In Man of Steel, what does Clark do to the man's semi-truck after the man grabs the waitress's rear at the bar Clark and she work at?
I'm guessing you want specifics here. He destroys it by just putting it through some light poles.
I'll accept that. Skewers it with wooden beams or wooden logs. I'll accept that for 2 points.
What's the question?
All right. So moving on to number 3. Question number 3 in DCEU. Who plays Barry Allen's father, Henry, in Justice League?
Billy Crudup.
That is correct for 2 points. All right. Your penultimate question in round number 2. In Birds of Prey, what is the name of the spot inside the amusement park where Harley Quinn uses to meet Roman and I'm sorry, let me start over this question.
Okay.
Your penultimate question. In Birds of Prey, what is the name of the spot inside the amusement park where Harley Quinn used to meet Mr. J and sets up the climactic meet with Roman?
Multiple choice.
All right. Is it A, the Mile High Club, B, the Booby Trap, C, the Looney Bin, or D, Bag O' Laughs?
C?
C, the Looney Bin is incorrect. Going to go to David for the 1-point steal. In Birds of Prey, what is the name of the spot inside the amusement park where Harley Quinn used to meet Mr. J and sets up the climactic meet with Roman? Is it A, the Mile High Club, B, the booby trap, C, the loony bin, or D, bag o' laughs?
B, the booby trap.
That is correct for 1 point. All right, Antonio, your final question in DCEU. What song is playing over the group of misfits getting their bags and boxes of belongings at the Midway City Airport in Suicide Squad?
Repeat the question.
Absolutely. That is Antonio's first repeat. In DCEU, what song is playing over the group of misfits grabbing their bags and boxes of belongings at the Midway City Airport in Suicide Squad?
Oh, Without Me by Eminem.
That is correct for 2 points. So Antonio picks up 6 points in that round. David capitalizes on both steal opportunities. So we do have a close game still, 15-11.
All right. So for David's spin, we'll go ahead and drop Antonio back out and bring in Joe. And then we'll go ahead and bring in that wheel.
That was one of those.
And your first spin.
I know. As soon as I saw him pick it, I was. Knew you'd be happy.
The wheel brought to you by Best Buy and their expensive ass TVs. Scores and soundtracks.
Yuck.
That tells me everything.
Let's spin that one again.
That's the way to get an emotion across in one word.
Yep. All right. Let's see how it works out.
And anything but that one. So
we are going
go
to
again.
get.
I was mixed bag.
At least it can't be DCEU this time.
And it lands on
MCU.
All right.
That 4 point he's got a 4 point advantage. Don't be afraid to use those multiple choices if you need them.
Thank you.
And the
All
read.
right.
Go ahead and drop Joe to the back. And bring back Antonio.
1 second.
Do a switch.
1 second.
No worries, David. All right. Good to go.
All right, David. You will get 5 questions in the category of MCU. And your first one is this. In Avengers Age of Ultron, what are Tony and Steve doing at the Barton house when Clint's wife asks Tony to repair their tractor?
They're chopping wood, like chopping wood.
That is correct for 2 points. All right. We'll go ahead and move on to question number 2. What is the name of the home planet of the Kree civilization as seen in Captain Marvel?
Hala.
That is correct for 2 more points. And with that, he will tie Antonio up with 3 questions to go. All right. Question number 3. In Doctor Strange, what is the name of the character portrayed by Rachel McAdams, who assists in the surgery at the beginning of the film and also helps save Doctor Strange during his astral projection later in the film?
Christine Palmer.
That is correct for 2 more points. All right, we move on to your penultimate question, David. Question number 4. In Thor Ragnarok, what is Korg's good buddy's name that Thor meets alongside Korg?
Oh, this is my good friend Mick. Me.
That is correct for 2 more points.
I cannot do the impression. I apologize. Sorry. I didn't. I shouldn't have tried.
All right, and we'll go ahead and move into your final question. Question number 5. In Captain America: The First Avenger, where does a distraught Steve Rogers go immediately after he gets his 4F stamp on his enlistment application?
Repeat that, please.
Absolutely. That'll be your first repeat of the match. In Captain America: The First Avenger, where does a distraught Steve Rogers go immediately after he gets his 4F stamp on his enlistment application?
A movie theater.
That is correct for 2 more points, giving a score of 21-15.
David sweeps that category. Impressive. All right. So Antonio's got a bit of an uphill climb here going into round number 3. You can bring in, yep, thank you. I will read off the round 3 rules. In TMGeek, we go 1 through 12, so each competitor will pick 3 numbers that will correspond to 3 random geek categories. You'll get 3 questions worth 2, 3, and 5 points respectively, according to those numbers that you give us. Each player retains your repeats and challenges that you have that carry over. So David, you still have 2 repeats. Unfortunately, you lost your challenge. Antonio, you have 2 repeats as well. You do have your challenge. And there's obviously no stealing, no multiple choice in this round. I will before we give numbers, I will let you guys talk to your clients first. Joe, if you would like to talk to David, be my guest.
David, I've not got much to say here. That was fantastic. I was willing those answers into your head, but I don't think I needed to be honest. Yeah, just keep it cool. Antonio's going to have to answer, well, all of his questions at least, or at least the 2 and the 5, 3 and the 5. So just sit back, keep yourself calm. Remember, you've still got those 2 repeats left. Don't be afraid to use them if you need them.
Okay.
All right. So since we're on you, David, you can go ahead and give me your 3 numbers, 1 through 12.
I mean, since we are both wearing Star Wars, I will use the Star Wars numbers instead of my sister's numbers. Let's go 3, 2, 7.
3, 2, and 7. All right. And then Robert, I'll give you however much time you need to talk with Antonio, and then you guys can give me your numbers after that.
Cool. Antonio, he got a category that figured he would do well in, and he did.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. 6 points. Joe's right. You got to answer all these questions. I believe in you. Obviously, it's 6 points. It's not insurmountable. We can only control what we can control. So you do what you do. You got 2 more repeats. You got a challenge if something gets a little hairy, but just keep moving forward, man.
Yep.
Do what you can. See how this all shakes out in the end.
Yeah. All right.
All right. And Antonio, your 3 numbers, please.
8, 1, and 12.
8, 1, and 12. All right.
Trash number.
So
All numbers are beautiful.
Joe says they are not sexy numbers. I disagree, but we will talk about that later. All right. So thank you, managers. We'll drop you to the back and leave the competitors in. Aaron, since I gave Antonio his round 2 questions, I'll let you go ahead and start him off with his round 3 questions.
Absolutely. And Antonio, for your first number, you picked number 8, which will put you in the category of Middle Earth.
Okay.
Here we go. For your 2 points. In The Desolation of Smaug, Bjorn can skin change into what animal?
5,
A
4,
wolf?
3.
It is incorrect. We were looking for a bear. A bear. All right. So with that, we'll go ahead and move on to Antonio's 3-pointer, which you picked number 1, which will fall into the category of Star Trek. And your 3-point question is, what is the name of the Klingon moon that Spock is briefing Starfleet officers on regarding an explosion that was thought to be a mining accident in Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country?
Antonio's got 2 repeats, but he does need to hit this to stay in the game. Need an answer, repeat in 5, 4, 3,
Repeat.
2. All right.
All right, this will be Antonio's second repeat. In the category of Star Trek for 3 points, what is the name of the Klingon moon that Spock is briefing Starfleet officers on regarding an explosion that was thought to be a mining accident in Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country?
Five, 4, 3,
Last one.
2. All right.
All right. In the category of Star Trek, what is the name of the Klingon moon that Spock is briefing Starfleet officers on regarding an explosion that was thought to be a mining accident in Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country?
Need an answer in 5, 4, 3, 2.
A random word, Crom. I don't know.
And your winner by technical knockout, moving on to the quarterfinals, David, the Spaniard Garcìa. We were looking for Praxis. Praxis was the moon. All right, we will bring in David and Joe, his manager. How are you feeling after that victory, David?
Good. I feel good. I am proud of how I did. I don't think I left any points on the table that I should have known. The Sterling K. Brown one maybe, but I should have known the name of that actor because I know him from another place that I can't remember right now. But yeah,
Absolutely.
right now.
You
David,
cleaned up.
that is the only question you missed. The Sterling K. Brown one's the only one you missed. You picked up the steals where you needed to. You went perfect in round 2. I'll be honest, after that round 1, I think a TKO is not reflective on the way Antonio played. He had a really, really good match.
No.
He just happened to get 2 categories. He's not maybe the strongest in for his round 3 categories, but David played fantastic. So missing 1 question, especially I know what TMGeek does for round 2 for your questions. They are tough questions. And to go 10 for 10 in round 2 is phenomenal. So he played really well. Hope he plays that well in his next match. Hope I play that well in my next match because we all know what happens after that.
Yep.
Well,
Absolutely.
speaking of your next match, as was kind of offhandedly mentioned earlier, the results of your next match are not in yet, but your opponent will be the winner of Antonio's manager, Robert Kastner, taking on my teammate, Alec Miller, in their round 2 match. So based on what you might know about either opponent, do you have a preference, or is it just you'll take what you'll take?
I don't know anything about those, so I just will continue playing my own game.
Fair answer.
Yeah, that's probably a smart way to approach it.
And when David's playing the way he's playing his own game, missing 1, leaving no steals available, it's a good game to be playing.
No kidding. That's hard to argue with that, for sure. All right. Well, congratulations, David. Absolutely. Congratulations, Joe, as well. We will see you both in the next round, and we will bring forth our unfortunate second place finisher tonight. I know we'll see him back later, but Antonio, probably one of the best first rounds where the competitor did not win. So, what are your thoughts on maybe keeping the DCEU? Are you thinking that you should have respawned? What are your thoughts here?
Well, considering that when it was spun afterwards, it would have got scores and soundtracks. I think
True.
It would have been like I don't think I minded DCEU. I just felt like it's something I need to brush up on, especially with
some tough questions.
And Birds of Prey. And the funny thing is, I was actually skimming that, and I was like, I forgot about that one little thing. But I don't think I could have done any better. It just shows that I still had to like do some brushing up on those particular movies, and especially like Star Trek. Like I've seen all of them, but there's something more like I need to like know like little minute details like that. So
fair, yeah.
He said what I was going to say about if we respin, it gets scores and soundtracks, and given the nature of Joe sort of mentioned it, the degree of difficulty of second round questions, who knows how that would have panned out. I'm proud of Antonio the way he played. Just some bad number choices, bad luck on the number choices. I just read stuff about Star Trek 6 and I didn't remember Praxis at all. So he's got other stuff on his plate a little bit. So I think geek stuff kind of got pushed a little bit to the back, but Joe was right. I don't think the TKO is reflective of how he is as a player. Obviously, given how he played against Joe, I played when he TKO'd Malcolm. So Dave's just a buzzsaw right now. What are you gonna say?
Yeah, man. You definitely don't take away anything from him. He's great.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Go ahead. Sorry, buddy.
No, outside the videos. Anyone else hearing that?
Yeah.
No. I don't.
Okay. All right. Now it's gone. All right. We can do this. All right. So what I was going to say is, Antonio, again, you played a great game, man. You've played 3 times so far in this league. You're 1-2, so you do have that first win. So you got that out of the tournament at least. And you've had good performances throughout this tournament. So great job on that front. Again, just an unlucky round 3. But I'll turn to Robert and ask a variant of the same question I asked to David, in that your next match sees you playing Alec Miller. Should things go your way in that match, you will be going up against David. Does this win today for David bring a little bit of extra motivation for you in that match?
Yes, but I knew going in, because seeds are stupid, that if I won this one and I had to play David, I was in a bad draw. So I'm not saying that I'm not going to give him my all, and that if I happen to beat Alec, that David won't get my best game. But I mean, what are you going to do against somebody like that? I'm going to try to avenge my compatriot, my team partner.
Even you're right. This top corner of the bracket, this top 4, has become an absolute murderer's row, in that we have Joe. We have Joe, who got the first perfect round ever in TMG. We had Ryan stepping in for a last-minute sub out and playing the best game we've seen from a competitor in TMG so far. And now we have David moving on, who has played 2 matches and both times scored over 20 points. It's impressive performances from all 3. You'll be in great company should you get there, but that certainly makes it even tougher.
I definitely would be the lowest rung of that, and I'm cool with it. It's fine.
Hey,
bigger chance for upsets.
You could do worse than having somebody like Antonio in your corner. So at least you do have that. So yeah, unfortunately things didn't turn out Antonio's way, but we will see you back in TMGeek for sure as soon as the tournament is over, if not maybe before. So thank you very much, Antonio and Robert. You guys are solid stand-up dudes, and we love having you.
All right.
Yep. And no, Joe has to run, so thank you, Joe. We will talk to you later as well. And we will wrap this up. thoughts on the match, Aaron? Closing thoughts?
It was a good match, you know. It was a good match. It, especially after that round one, you know, we've often seen round ones that are close, but the round ones that are close are often, you know, both competitors nab 6 or 7 points apiece. But both of these guys going damn near perfect and staying at pace with each other. Yeah, I just think Antonio just got unfortunate. You know, once you get past round one, a certain element of luck comes into the game, and at that point it's, you know, bad number picks or a wheel spin, and I think that is truly what got Antonio today on that sense. You know, just some bad luck with the numbers and a bad wheel spin. But we can't use that to take away from David's performance, because David, again, he excelled in round one, he cleared round two, and if we're being in, I mean, David almost had 100% of his PP.
I was going to say 95.5% is what he that was his accuracy rating in this match. Yeah.
And if Sterling K. Brown's all he's got to remember, that makes him a big threat going forward.
Exactly. I mean, I don't know how much more you can throw at somebody that has that kind of knowledge. So, absolutely, he is definitely a buzzsaw, especially right now. He's definitely in that mode of just he's just in geek mode. So yeah, anybody who runs into that, maybe if it could be Joe, that would be probably the most interesting match that we would see. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, like, Robert could definitely throw a wrench into things and it just blow everything up. So who knows? That's kind of what makes tournaments fun, honestly. So we'll see. But yeah, for this episode of TM Geek, that wraps it up. Our final score for the evening: David with a TKO over Antonio. 21-15. Great match by both contestants. And David moves on. So we will have the results for the following match later on. I'll be able to post those on the page, but unfortunately I cannot tell you guys because I honestly don't know, because we have not recorded that match yet. But I thank you for tuning in. Tune in next Thursday for the following match, and we will see you then. For my co-host Aaron Knoll, I have been Kevin the Philosopher Boss, and for David Garcìa, Alonso, and Antonio Chavez, and their managers Robert Kastner, Joe Hot Fuzz Farrelly, keep geeking out. See you later, guys.